Let's go. And we're back. All right. So there was some construction happening in the building. They had to cut off the power. So obviously people don't get electrocuted and whatnot. So the stream originally cut off abruptly, but just spoke with them and we got it figured out. All right. Back in. You said, welcome back. Yeah, it's nice to be back. Yep. I mean, I just had to go outside and talk to the construction guys. What they told me was absolutely crazy. But I mean, we got it figured out. So what did they say? Oh, what they said was make sure to step over to chartaddictsfx.com and click live classes. People, you have 10 days left to register for the NAS Masterclass. It's the last 1.0 Masterclass we're ever going to do. After this, we might launch some kind of like recorded thing where people can do it on their own time later. But this was going to be the last guided masterclass for the original NASDAQ intro that we're ever going to do. It's going to be July 22nd. Everything after that is going to be focused on NASDAQ 2.0. Everyone who already took this masterclass, we're going to go into the advanced sections now. And now that everyone has context, which means they've traded the strategy and they know kind of the ins and outs, now we can start going into the advanced stuff and showing you guys some of those tips and tricks that help me make those discretionary decisions. Like, should I trade today? Should I not trade today? If the market breaks level 1, 2, or 3, how do we, like, which re-entry model is most likely? I try not to go into those details too much because let's be real, trading is about simplicity. And the more complicated that we get into the strategy, the less likely it is for the beginners to make money. But a lot of you guys have had months and months of experience. Let's take that to the next level now. Let's take that understanding to the next level. All right. Do I want to go through some receipts? Yeah, I do. What? Make sure you guys drop a like on this stream too. Make sure you guys drop a like on this stream. In case you guys haven't seen any of these interviews, by the way, we interviewed TradingView. That was one of my favorite interviews I've done. Dr. Richard Olson, one of the smartest people, the pioneer of modern Forex. Anthony Pompliano, the face of Bitcoin today. Well, it's Michael Saylor and Pomp. We have Bob Elliott, one of the most successful hedge fund managers on God's green earth. Brent Johnson, the founder and creator of the dollar milkshake theory, the number one theory in the world right now as to why the dollar is going to outlast all the other currencies. Last 3 years, I've had every smart economist that I'm connected with tell me the dollar is going to crash. And Brent was out here. He made some shit called the dollar milkshake theory, which sounds so stupid. And he's been right. And I've been trading, I've been buying UJ and selling EU since then. I've been buying US stocks since then, and I've been buying assets since then. So shout out to Brent Johnson, one of my favorite convos of all time. Make sure you guys check out those incredible interviews on the website or on our YouTube. So 2 days ago, we were doing a live stream for CPI aftermath. That's earlier today. Streamed 1 day ago. Huh. Oh, that makes sense. The other live stream was made private. Okay, okay, okay. This is the trade idea from yesterday. 20, 20,234 was the entry price. Let's hop on over here to the 4-hour time frame. So 2234 was the entry price. The stop loss did get hit on this trade, and so I had to re-enter. The stop loss was way too tight for this trade. I'm just going to be honest. That was I want to call it a rookie mistake, but I was looking at it from a scalp perspective. This morning we started to have a bit of a rejection. That was kind of like that was my original trade. I was in profits on that original push up, but then market ended up coming down for a double bottom. That's where I did have a re-entry. So as the market was coming back in, I entered about halfway through this wick, and then price ended up shooting down, hitting my stop loss, and then recovering back up. So where are we at? Right here. So I had to re-enter this trade on the break back inside, extended my stop loss, and then the only issue is that I closed this trade prematurely. I closed it at a 1-to-1, And if I had held this trade, it would have been currently running at probably a 3.3 to 1 R. So I missed out on 3 times the money that I could have made. But that's okay. I think I ended the day with 0.7% so far. I'm looking to break that 1% mark, but we'll see if we get a retest or not. Knowing Mike, yeah, Mike, yeah, I got your attention. Knowing you, all right, hit this, right? Where it's just going to come back to retest this area. Everyone's going to buy right at the zone. It's going to break it, obviously, because it's not our first rodeo. Retest and pop off. This area here could be a great retest zone. Okay, obviously we have to see how this 4-hour candle closes, because if it wicks and closes below this, then this was like the world's greatest retest candle. If it wicks back under that zone, that means next week we're going to have the second leg of that big drop. If we close above, then the next trade is going to be retest and pop. And obviously over here, when it's going to go through the zone a little bit and pop off. But Mike's going to be on the smaller time frame, scalping that, because there's probably a breaker somewhere, and he's probably going to go bing, bing, and find that 886 entry right below that liquidity zone. But then again, Mike, I could just be making wild assumptions and not know what the fuck I'm talking about. You might not do any of that. You might be selling it right now, and as far as I know. Was I spot on? Was I accurate a little bit? Are you on the money, waiting for that pullback? I do. Once you're locked in, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Like once we all see it, you can't unsee it. And it's really that fucking simple. It's like, where's the next closest zone on the higher time frame? Okay, do I just stay on the higher time frame to take the trade? Obviously not, right? I got to dial myself down to the smaller time frames to get as accurate as possible. This is a big ass candle. There's no anchor. Like the only anchor I have is down here. This is like the support. This is the high. So if I want to wait for an 88.6, I got to do all this, right? But that's where we hop into the smaller time frames and we're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, there's a local support here. Okay, that local support starting to get, a little bit better and better. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Beautiful. Now, does that make sense with the higher time frame idea I had originally, which is the market's going to come back to the zone, play around, and go just under it a little bit? The answer is yes, because that fib level was sitting right under the zone. So it's like, whoa, how far below the zone is it going to go, Roy? Like, how do we even guess that? You use the fibs, and then you can also use higher time frame fibs. Like you can go top to bottom, and then line it up. We got the 38.2 right here. So the more fibs that you draw from, so you can draw a short side fib, like all the way down. Okay, and you have the 38 sitting right here. So the more Fibonacci levels that line up with this price action support level, the support turn resistance, the better. And just makes it more and more and more high probability. So I'm just like, y'all, man, I'd love to get an 88.6 retest, but let's be real here. This is probably gonna be a tap and go continuation. Kill, 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 kill. Roy, do you trade Forex too? I do, but only USD JPY and Euro USD. The reason for that is because I live in America. I mostly study the US economy, and it's a lot easier for me to keep track of what's happening in that currency because I live here. And so UJ and Euro USD, and I mean, I've been writing about this in articles for years. You guys can go to the analysis tab of the website and just see all the articles I've been writing. Yen, trash currency. Euro, trash currency. So if the yen is trash and the dollar is king, that means UJ is going to keep going up for the next 3 to 5 years. Okay, at least until the Bank of Japan finally crashes and burns. And then we have the Eurozone, which has arguably the worst economic policies out of any economy that we've ever seen, right? How are you socialist, but you don't have the resources to be socialist? Like at least Venezuela had made so much money from their oil trade. That's why they became socialist. Okay, clearly it went back and bit them in the ass, but they at least had the resources to be socialist. Same with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia and Dubai can actually afford to have this sort of these social programs in their countries because they have the resources. Europe don't have the resources. They're paying Putin for oil. Like, not only do you not have resources, you're so low on resources, you have to pay your number one enemy right now, who you're in war with, for the number one most important energy resource in the world. So, like, yeah, you can't go socialist with no resources. That's a recipe for disaster. I think the hubris of the Europeans made them think that they could keep that game going forever because they're G7. Well, of course, nothing's going to happen to us. And lo and behold, reality always sets in. That's the nature of the game, baby. It's the nature of the game. Don't ever let your overconfidence stop you from being paranoid. Okay? Only the paranoid survive in this game, people. We're going to talk about economics. We're going to talk about trading. Only the paranoid survive. So that's their thing. Now let's talk about France real quick, because I did have a few questions about that. Clearly, this year has been very chaotic, but the biggest reason for it is not but the biggest reason for the chaos is this is the year with the most amount of global elections out of any year in history. There are more presidential and parliamentary races in 2024 at the same time all year than there have ever been in history, which means the game is shifting so drastically that we actually won't be able to make a good outline of what the world looks like until the dust settles. Because you could have a whole plan about, okay, Labour Party is going to win in the UK, Labour Party is going to win in France, and then there's going to be a sweep wherever. It just takes one of those elections to go like France just did, where the communists all teamed up together and sort of stifled the conservative movement, to completely throw off your understanding of the world. Politics has a direct impact on economics, obviously, because politics is downstream from culture. Culture, meaning like people, society, communities, create the conditions for the political atmosphere, and the political atmosphere creates the conditions for the economic framework that you use. So socialists typically believe more in printing more money and then introducing that money into the system, not realizing that taxes will have to go up as a result. Now, on the other side, conservatives are typically supposed to be more conservative with their spending, but it seems like in the US at least, both sides are willing to spend. That's why I'm paying so much attention to politics this year, not because of just a general interest in how the world works. That's our job as traders. You can't have your head in the sand. You got to know how the world works, especially as a Forex trader. But what's more important is the economic impact of who gets elected is huge. You guys know if Biden gets elected in America versus Trump, those are two drastically different economic situations going into next year. Trump has promised to lower interest rates, fire Jerome Powell, bring back American manufacturing. So basically make it more tax advantageous for companies to come back to the US than for them to stay abroad. People give Trump so much bullshit or so much shit for the corporate tax relief that he did. You guys, uh, Apple was hiding 100, not hiding, but Apple was keeping $180 billion in cash in Ireland because they didn't want to bring it to the US because there was no incentive. All Trump had to do was sign a piece of paper, say that if you're going to keep your money overseas and you're a US company, fine. You got to pay a shit ton of taxes on that. But if you want to bring it back here and put it to work, or you want to bring it back here and keep it, we'll give you a break. That is the difference between creating an economic incentive plan to bring back manufacturing and jobs to America and create that genuine economic activity versus what I feel like the Democrats have been doing for the last 4 years, which is introducing printed money and putting it on the back of Gen Z and millennials because we're going to have to pay those taxes in the future to service that debt. You understand? So that's kind of the game going around the world today, is that liberals had sort of moved the pendulum so far left that now you're getting populists elected just to swing that pendulum back to the middle. Now, I don't believe in having an extremist on either side as president or leader of a country, even though I am conservative and I would love to have a melee in every spot in government. I don't think extremists should be running the government because they don't represent the majority of the people. But there's an old saying that if liberals don't secure their borders, fascists will. It's the same thing. If liberals don't get their countries together, populists will. And that's what's happening all over the world. You're having populist revolutions because the liberal sort of pendulum had swung so far extreme that we no longer recognize the world that we live in. And so we need that extreme. I'd make this analogy to like Andrew Tate, for example, that the culture had swung so far in one direction that you needed this polar extreme on the complete opposite side just to swing the pendulum back to the middle. People will say the craziest shit on the extremes of this bell curve, but they will open up that conversation so that people, reasonable people in the middle, can come to a conclusion. So in France, the conservative movement was supposed to win because France has gone completely down the drain. But there is like some kind of propaganda campaign to keep the immigration situation exactly how it is. The current, I think, I don't know, I forgot what her name was. I think she's running for prime minister or president of France. They were calling her some kind of racist. They were saying that she's like a Hitler figure and all this stuff. All she was saying is over the last 7 years, they've let in millions of illegal immigrants into France to the point where France is now less safe, less productive, and less cohesive than it's ever been. And unless we have some kind of sensible policy to have unity in our country, the country's going to fall apart. Guys, diversity doesn't mean having a bunch of people who don't look the same, don't talk the same, and have different ideas building the same house. That's not fucking diversity. Diversity is you need a carpenter, you need a painter, you need a fucking cement guy, you need the inspectors, you need the electricians. That's diversity. That's how you build a house. You don't build a house with 7 people who can't communicate with each other, all trying to build a different house. I don't get how that is a controversial topic today, but I feel like if you guys are going to hear it from anyone, hopefully you hear it from me. So the conservative movement in France was trying to get France back, right? Trying to get it back under control from the Macron, Trudeau, Rishi Sunak, fucking Biden conglomerate of communist ideals. And all of the liberal parties, the communists, the fascists, and the fucking the neoliberals all teamed up together in France to, I don't want to say steal the election. They pulled a GameStop. Okay. It's the same thing that happened in America. Y'all remember last year or 2022, there was supposed to be a red wave that swept across America. And all of these state and local elections, there were supposed to be conservatives occupying those spaces. And we never got the red wave because there was people in the conservative party that were playing for the other side. Like, what's her name that Vivek called out? The head of the RNC. Fucking, damn, what's her name? Ronna McDaniel. Fucking Ronna McDaniel. All right. Putting Christine Walker as the head as the moderator for a conservative debate. Like all of these like little small things seem so innocent, but they're all playing towards getting the other side to win. And so that's what's been happening around the world. France is going to be in some shit over the next 2, 3 weeks, right? Expect the riots, expect the protests, and use it as an example for the rest of the world because the UK is going through their own referendum between Labour and the Liberals over there. Canada finally woke up. They're trying to kick Trudeau out of his office. It's about goddamn time, right? And so there's a giant labor movement. There's a conservative push in Canada. And of course, in America, we've had 4 years of Biden. People are sick and tired of it. And Trump is a referendum on Biden. So like all over the world, you can Millet, Bukele, all the leaders that you guys see, there has been a referendum on liberalism and not neoliberalism, and populist and conservative movements are going to take back over. Straight up. I'm up in the morning. I know he goes around 10 a.m. Eastern and 7 a.m. my time, so I just start refreshing every 5 minutes. Now, Camille, to be honest, you guys have heard of notifications, right? Because you can go to our channel and you can turn on notifications so that you get notified when we go live. All right, because if you guys are not getting the notifications, it's because you don't have them turned on. BRB, my dog killing me. Need to take him out. Don't run away. I'm gonna stay right here, brother. Go take care of your dog. Don't let him shit in your house. Okay. Okay, Roy, that's the knowledge nobody is talking about. Camille, what are you talking about? Which part? AB Mike said, grateful for the NAS masterclass. Not only survived the sell-off yesterday, but also made 2% on the buys. Let's fucking go, AB Mike. There goes the YouTube monetization. Fuck YouTube. I gotta stop doing shit like that, bro, for real, because I can't be roasting the platform I'm using. Like that can't be good for the numbers. Like that can't be a positive thing, you know? But anything that makes me feel like I'm being restricted from saying what's on my mind or just speaking honestly, I have a real resentment for. And that's kind of how I feel about them. It's not even, you know what? I love YouTube and thank you for this incredible opportunity. Fuck the advertisers. Now I'm really in trouble. Y'all are the pussies that you think that because I say a curse word, people won't buy Kleenex or whatever the fuck you're trying to sell on my stream. The Charmin Ultra Strong. You think because I said the F word while giving out thousands of dollars of free trade ideas, that's why people won't buy the Charmin Ultra Strong, the Bounty, the better, cleaner upper? Oh no. He said the charts and the economy, honestly, all of my notifications are on. Well, smart man. Notifications are the problem. That's what I'm trying to tell Roy. I speak Spanglish. You can turn on notifications on YouTube. I caught the cold buys and the NAS 100 buys. Congratulations, Rich. Love to see it. Okay, good stuff. He said great analysis. It's Friday, my G. But it's Friday for brokies, man. I don't give a fuck what type of day it is. You think somebody 1,000 years ago about to tell me how to live my life? You think a room full of 100 people that came up with the Augustan or the Gregorian calendar finna tell me what fucking day it is? I'm gonna tell you what day it is. It's a perfect day to have a great day, you understand? Because I'll tell you what, as soon as you get into that Friday mindset, you know what happens? You start to take your foot off the gas. People, none of you are rich enough to take your foot off the gas. You understand? The weekends are the only time you have to catch up to bridge that gap between you and the competition. There's people I'm competing with in every asset of my life that have 10 times the resources, 10 times the pull, 10 times the years in the game. People have been in the game 7, 8, 9 years. Okay. The only way that I can get ahead is by using my free time. And while they're, oh, it's Friday, let me take my girl out, right? Let's go to this fucking club. Let me be hungover all weekend. Perfect. Eating their lunch or working on myself and bridging that distance because I don't have 7, 8 years in the game. And if I want to do the same numbers in trading that those folks are doing, what am I doing on the weekends? How am I bridging that distance between me and first place? So it ain't Friday, baby. It's the perfect day to get ahead, is what it is. Christine, I see your hand up. Let's go. See what you got.
Hey, did you hear the good news when your standing desk messed you up?
What good news? The TP smashed or which one?
Um, well, we in the middle of this hurricane and I've been failing challenges for 2 years straight. And I passed my first ever challenge today.
Everybody throw a W Christine in the fucking chat. Fuck YouTube. Throw a W Christine in the chat. Christine, can I just ask you a question? What do you feel like was different this run around from the previous challenges you've taken? Anything you did different?
Um, Honestly, it was taking the master class. Like I took the master class at the end of March. I took my challenge in May and I took it nice and slow. Um, and I passed.
So you weren't rushing it. You didn't have like a deadline, like I have to pass it by this amount of time. You were taking
Mm-mm.
it trade by trade and just following the rules. Is that fair to
Actually, no,
say?
that's a lie. I took trade of 8. I
Okay.
was doing good with that one. My anxiety got a hold of me. So, and then Apex was running a special. So I said, I'm not going to rush it. And I took Apex. I started 531 and then I passed it today, 712.
Let's go. Congratulations, Christine. I'm really proud of you. That's awesome
Thank
stuff.
you.
All right. And I'm gonna tell you the same thing I tell everyone when they pass. This is the start of the journey, not the end. People
Yes.
tend, because especially if you've gone a long time without having the success, once you pass the challenge, it's like a relief that comes in or like a milestone that gets reached. People typically stop doing what got them to the dance. All right. So just keep that as a reminder. Whatever you did to get you here, this is now more than ever. It's more important than ever to double down on those things because that's what's going to take you to the next steps. Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Roy.
Of course. Let's keep that success going. Really proud of you, Christine, for real. See, YouTube, y'all better be throwing up W Christines in the chat. Don't be a bunch of haters. Said no partying here, straight business. All right, let's not go that far, Rich. All right. Y'all think I'm this entertaining on the stream and in real life I'm a fucking dud? No. The reason I stay inside is because I'm trying to fucking, you know, I'm doing a public service by staying inside, bro. I'm a menace. I'm too much of a good time. That's the problem. right? So you have to be disciplined. It's like if I was whack and I never, went out and all this stuff, I don't know if I get that much credit. Like, you know, but I'm lit. I gotta keep myself focused and whatnot. So now we know how to have fun over here, brother. It's work hard, play harder. Or play hard and work harder. That's probably better. All right, we throwing W's. Christine, I know you see the love in the chats. Mike, you're a fucking real one, bro. Deadass. But he's in both chats showing love. That's what I'm talking about. All right, y'all. So we're coming back in. I'm putting my alerts already. Bring this down. I can't believe it's already Friday. That is nuts. Okay. Alert is set, and I'm gonna put an alert under the zone too. Because the first alert is to let me know, like, yo, wake up, time to enter that trade. Make sure you're watching it before it gets there. Second alert is like, buddy, this thing might be gone. Like, it's time to rethink this trade idea. But now that the alerts are set, we don't have to continue to watch. What a beautiful, beautiful trade. And oh man. All right, what questions do you guys have, if any? What questions do you guys have? So what is the masterclass? Go to the website, chartaddictsfx.com. The link is actually in the description below. You guys can head over there now if you want. Live classes is the tab. You guys can go check out tons of stories. The questions in these videos is basically like, what do you think of the class? How did it help you? Do you feel like it's beneficial just in terms of like the technical side, or did it give you anything else? And then how would you compare it to other programs you've taken? Like, what was your thoughts about it when you first took it, and what was your reaction after? All your questions are answered here, so just make sure you guys check this out after, and I you won't regret it. I'll put it that way. Okay, so France, Labor Party movement, we talked about that. I can't believe the commies won. But then again, it's France. So my hopes for them were in the dirt anyways. So it is what it is. Hopefully the UK can squeeze out a conservative win, only because, and this is really the reason why I'm kind of betting on the conservative push. We need the pendulum to swing. All extremes are bad for society because the majority of humans don't live in an extreme. They live in the middle, right? And so we don't have the best outcomes when extremists are in. But we do need extremists to come in to swing the pendulum back. So you have extreme leftist policies, you need extreme right government to kind of like balance things out. And then 4 years later, people are so sick of the extreme right government that they vote for someone more centrist, and we find our way back in the middle, which is how I feel like this is going to go. Trump wins the next 4 years. After the 4 years, the country is so tired of being pushed and pulled in either extreme direction, and then we find a centrist candidate that can kind of maintain the system. If we don't have that, we're going to keep seeing more geopolitical problems. No conservative government in Europe voted for the war against Russia. It was only the liberal governments under the excuse of trying to promote democracy, whatever the fuck they were. Imagine, like, yo, this whole world is such a fucking circus today. Imagine that they brought all of Europe into a war with the number one nuclear power in Europe, which is Russia, right? Under the guise of making Ukraine and supporting this democratically elected country. Ukraine was voted number one like 3 years ago. Ukraine was voted number one in the world for most corrupt countries. People, I'm from Lebanon, right? We know how corrupt Lebanon is. To think that there's anybody in the world that's above that, Lebanon's not even on the top 10 list. You know what you got to do to be on the top one list? You literally have to be like you have to be run by the mob 100% of the way through, and not a single bureaucratic thing can happen without bribery or without theft or without some kind of coercion. That's what number one most corrupt country in the world means. You're telling me that that's the country we're defending for democracy? Like, what the fuck? Did anybody fall for that shit? But they did. And so the liberal governments are the ones really pushing this sort of last excuse of what now the conservatives that support this war against Russia, the ones in Europe and the ones in the West, are using it as an excuse to deplete Russia's strategic capabilities. Let me show you guys something. Okay, let me just ask a good question here to Google. What percentage of Russia's GDP comes from sale of oil? Okay. Russia's oil and gas industry accounts for 16% of the country's GDP. Okay? 16%. So that's the majority. I don't think there's a single sector in America that makes up 16% of America's GDP on a holistic level. So what happened here is that as soon as the war started, the price of oil went up, and the rest of the world was funding Putin's armory. Because while we were trying to deplete him by spending American taxpayer dollars, 50 billion at a fucking time, to get him to deplete his military capabilities, he was selling this oil for double the price. His country's GDP had absolutely boomed, and he was able to not only deplete his military capability, but replenish all of it. Motherfucker bought all new weapons. Imagine how retarded we are, guys. We want to deplete this dude's entire weaponry, so we make him exhaust all of his missiles, all of the guns, the anti-tank aircrafts, and all, or the anti-aircraft missiles, and all these expensive things. But then we also drive the price of oil up. So not only do we make Iran rich, because that's how they were able to fund the proxy wars in the Middle East with the Houthis, Hamas, and potentially Hezbollah, God forbid. But we did the same thing with Russia, made them rich, continued the war. They replenished their entire armory. Now they're more equipped than ever. Europe is in disarray. And America has just spent billions of dollars on this to where the American people are now resentful and we don't want to spend more money over there. You guys see how this works? And it's for a war that Ukraine has zero chance of winning in the first place. That's where we are. That's how stupid these people are. Where how do you improve your entry? Do you think being in a small position will take out the fear of a trade going the wrong way? Dale, you answered your own question. If you're ever struggling to hold trades, if you're ever struggling to enter because of hesitation, it's because of the lot size, or it's because of your contract size or position size. No one's ever panicked risking 10 cents on a trade. Okay, if I told you like, oh, you're going to be risking 30 cents on this trade, same parameters, same everything, would you be panicking? Your answer would be fuck no. Okay, so it's never about the trade. It's always about the risk. I don't care, even on my worst days, if I'm risking $1 on a trade, I can't panic. I don't care enough. I don't have any emotional tie to that dollar to be emotionally animated by this trade. So it's always the lot size. Go back to the smallest position you can possibly go to. Take trades that fit your criteria over and over again, and then you'll allow the trades to fully play out, unlike when you're over leveraging. Okay, let the trades fully play out. It only takes one or two of those trades fully playing out to reshape your relationship with trading. Most people do not give the trades a chance to play out ever, not even one time. If you're patient, you hold, you wait, and it all plays out. That's how you grow. Okay, through there. I don't know what that means, always rise. Alfonso says facts. Yeah, the fuck it is. You guys, there's only 2 days left to grab early tickets for the FX Summit Conference. It's the #1 conference of the year for traders and investors. We're expecting 5,000 people in Dubai. Now, our team, our team has been extremely busy this year because 5,000 people is not a joke. And it's a huge responsibility for us because we've never had more than 2,500 people at a conference. The last conference we had around 2,500, maybe a little bit more, including all the staff and everybody else. But going to 5,000 is a huge jump. And the only way we're going to make it happen, #1, is all the suggestions that you guys give of speakers you want to see and obviously what you guys want to see at the conference, but it's through your participation. And so I'd really, I really want to see all of you guys out there. You can use another promotional code. You can still, that July 4th code is technically still active. Just going to throw that out there. Code July 4. So early bird tickets are still active, and that July 4 code is still active. Don't say I didn't tell you. Okay. That's just for everyone who showed up for the second stream today, because you guys are real ones. It's a circus. I heard they're big in human trafficking. Yeah, and money laundering, Mike. Ukraine is a hub for money laundering. So when they send this $50 billion and it's unaccounted for, but it's going to contractors over there. So you got to imagine, like, if I'm a fraud and I have like if I'm a government official and I can't get caught doing stuff, you're probably going to have shell companies overseas, which are like these third-party companies that have a different name, Global Industrial Management LLC or some bullshit, right? Or incorporated. And they're all in Ukraine. And these are like government or general subcontractors, and you own them, or a friend of yours owns them. And so what you do is you pay, an extra couple $1 billion goes missing. They're able to hide hundreds of millions of dollars of bribes and potential payments through these networks, and then the money just gets lost. And when they bring it up in Congress, people are like, "Oh, you love Putin?" We're like, yo, why are we sending all this money over there and it's unaccounted for? They're like, oh, Putin lover. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with y'all, son? Y'all are crazy. And so that's the game. So yeah, the southern border, I think, is the bigger human trafficking crisis right now because the undocumentation of how many people are coming in, and then the children being separated from their parents, and then with no paperwork, somebody just coming up and being like, "Yeah, no, that's my kid." To be like, "Ah, you have paperwork?" They're like, "Nope." They're like, "All right, take them." Like, but we have to burn this whole shit down. We have to burn it all down to start from scratch because whatever's happening here, it's I blame the Secretary of Defense, Mayorkas, that little fucking rat. Okay, because they brought him in front of Congress and told him about all this, and he was just on some, I don't know, me no no. But he was talking about Israel or some shit. Okay, clearly he's Jewish, and so he has his own affinities and his own priorities, which is fine. Do your thing. As Secretary of Defense, you have one priority, which is securing this fucking country, just securing the fucking border. And if you're hitting the me no no, like I don't know how many people came through. I don't know how many Chinese nationals came through. I don't know how many Chinese military age men without families with military haircuts, 300,000 caught at the border, which means a million or more have probably gotten through. That's all fine. Our number one enemy and the smartest competitor that we've ever faced in the history of the United States, sending hundreds of thousands of military age men without their families across the southern border because they see it open. That can't go bad, right? The next 9/11 is definitely not going to happen because we let this many people through. Right? So we got to fucking, that dude should be in jail. He's a fucking rat. And so are the rest of the people in charge. William Barr. Um, who else? Who else can we blame? It's all of them. I think Biden has signed 3 executive orders to stop Texas from putting the illegals back in Mexico. That's deliberate destruction of the country. That's jail. That's treason. But I don't know. I guess we all just have to sit along and for this ride, I guess. That's what I'm saying. The Dems was doing through their money laundering. Yep. I get you. Do you think it limits you to level up though? No, because if you can't hold a trade deal and you can't let the full trade play out, you're never going to make progress anyways. That's the number one thing that's stopping you. It's not about making more money. It's about once you can trade, you can start to up your risk, right? And then you can, whenever you get to that comfort zone, your ceiling, you can start to go a little bit heavier and a little bit heavier and push yourself to past your comfort zone. But if you can't hold, if you can't trust your strategy, if you can't have the patience or the wherewithal or whatever it is to see it through, you're always going to close early, you're always going to cut it late, and that's why it's important to take that step of reducing your risk down to like a micro so that you can actually just let the strategy work, you can see it and build confidence, then you can start to up the risk on top of that. Make sense? Did LMAO for real? And he's getting away with it. They are definitely going to get away with it. Well, actually, Trump is a vote against the policies, and so I think that they won't get away with it. For real. Use promo code Chart Addicts or NAS50 for access to the NAS 100 Masterclass. You will not regret this opportunity. Every single human that's ever taken this masterclass has seen tremendous, tremendous improvement in their trading, or it finally got their trading on track, like we just heard from Christine and tons of other folks who have taken the class before. So use promo code at Chart Addicts for access to the masterclass. And then you guys can use July 4 as the promo code for your FX Summit tickets. You got 2 days. Make sure y'all don't miss out. You will want to come to the conference once we announce the full speakers. And every day people are telling me, Roy, you should announce more speakers. Like it's kind of dry or whatever. You guys think we don't know what we're doing? You guys don't think I'm waiting until after the early bird window is done to announce all the speakers? Because if you're willing to invest in yourself and you're willing to trust us after this many years of doing the conference, before we announce the full speakers, good, you're going to get that discount. Once we start announcing these guys, once we start announcing the Swaggies and the Rajas and all these guys that we have in the vault, a lot of people are going to want to grab their tickets and they're going to be a little upset that they didn't grab the early bird ones. Think about the top 5. Who's the top 5 people that you guys want to see in the influencer space? I mentioned Raja and Swaggy. Those are 2 big ones, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Who here would come to the summit if you can come meet Raja and Swaggy alone? Like imagine we don't have any other names here, and those are the only 2 that we're bringing up. Who here would pull up just to say what's up to them? Because I would. Now, once we announce the other speakers, the other guys in the space, it's going to really blow your mind. Q, that one we're working on. Q is just too famous for his own good now, bro. Like last year, he got so harassed and overwhelmed. He got full security. These guys were like fucking military security, bro, and they couldn't keep people from like swarming him. He's in the back of his booth. He got a 20 by 20 booth, like fat as fuck. He's in the back of his booth, pressed up, hundreds of people about to crowd him. Security's fighting for their life. He was telling me, he's like, look, bro, like he's obviously still building in the space and whatnot, but he was like, "Fam, I don't want to do all that shit again." He's done so much over the last 2 years. And I'm like, bro, I feel it. I understand. But I was like, dude, hop on stage. We'll get you a fucking helicopter, get you out through the back. You don't have to do the crowds or nothing. So that one's still on the table. The CEO of Top Tier is coming to speak. I think their new CEO, Dave, is an absolute stud. And when it comes to anybody who's running a prop firm today, out of all the people in our space, the sketchy motherfucker, all these guys, Dave is the only adult in the room. And so whatever your preconceived notions of what top tier trader is or that prop firm specifically or who's ran it in the past, this current CEO will change your mind. And when it comes to like everybody else in the space right now who's scrambling and doing crisis control and all the bullshit they're doing, Dave is an absolute stud. Division One college wrestler for 4 years, graduated from Brown University. You guys know what that is? It's like Harvard. It's an Ivy League school. You guys know what Ivy League means? It means it means you're fucking smart and bred it up, right? Then he also went to the Wharton School of Business to get his master's and MBA in development and all this stuff. So, guys, obviously traditionally versed. He helped to launch CryptoFi and bring them to market because he used to be the president of InvestFi, which is fucking huge. And so the guy's a stud, man. That's who we just announced today, which is really cool. We have another speaker announcing today, David Green, who was a 40-year veteran, not 40 years, he was a 30-year veteran at the stock exchange, the NYSE. He is the mentor for Peter Tuchman, the Einstein of Wall Street. Okay. Now he runs a trading academy. He's a full-time day trader. It's these kinds of folks that we're bringing on. Said everyone was walking around with bodyguards. Nope, it was just 3 people. And that was around the same time that the CoffeeZilla video dropped. So I'm gonna let you put two and two together. Let you put two and two together. Some people did not feel safe. Damn. All right, guys, set your alerts so that you're aware of when the market is gonna potentially turn around. And Chart Addicts members, you guys know, where's the market gonna go to? Is it rocket science? Like, where's the target for price just continuing to rip to the upside? I wonder how we're gonna find that zone, right? Oh, wait. So I mean, we already have the TP2 marked off, which is cool. But then this is the final target right here for this trade. Cool. So if we're lucky, we get this retest and then we can buy it all the way up. If not, then the market will probably head up to this target, come back to retest, and then just flatten out here. And then Monday, we can buy it up. Little inside scoop. Man, let's do some funny shit, bro. It's a Friday. Let me roast somebody. What do I have to roast? Rob the network? Nah, that's not who I'm talking about. The CoffeeZilla video was huge, dude. It was horrible timing. I'm trying to throw the world's biggest trading conference. I'm trying to make sure that we bring the industry forward by inviting incredible guests like Dr. Olson and Trading View and Bob Elliott and Anthony Pompliano. And we invited CoinDesk and Cointelegraph and Binance and fucking Bullish Exchange, the largest exchanges in the fucking world. Who else do we have? We had Forex.com. We had year one, we had Coinbase. Like, I'm trying my best to bring this industry forward by upping the standards. And then the week, like the day of the conference, the CoffeeZilla video drops and fucking makes our job a lot harder. It's a lot harder to convince everyone that trading is a legit path for a career if you choose so, and it's a legitimate industry that has real players, rules, guidelines, standards, and all the rest. And then it's like $750 million Ponzi scheme uncovered the day of the goddamn conference. Yeah, think about the position that it put me in, guys. Like, these are stories we're gonna have to tell one day. It is what it is. These are the craziest stories. All right, y'all. It's a Friday. I'm not gonna keep y'all on here too long. Happy and safe trading. Have your alerts set up. Members, you guys know exactly what I'm looking for. It's going to get to the zone. If you enter prematurely, just put the tester first because it will break through a little and then continue to pop. So once it gets to the support, wait for the liquidity grab, get in at the wick, right? Or tester entry at the zone and then full entry below the zone. Happy, safe trading, everybody. Make sure to check out those links. Use promo code NAS50 or use promo code ChartAddicts to get your seats to the NAS Masterclass. Do not miss out on this. And of course, the number one conference of the year, the FX Summit 2024 conference. Go to fxsummit2024.com. Link is in the description below. I'm bringing together the Power Rangers to show you guys exactly what the future of finance is going to look like. The brokers are going to tell us what the future of Forex brokers is going to be. Fees, the competition, like all this stuff. Are they going to get in the prop firm space, and should we be ready for that? The crypto exchanges are going to tell us on-chain versus off-chain analytics. How many people are getting in the market? How big is crypto about to be in 2025? What are the opportunities we should all be looking for? The traders are going to tell us how to trade. The technology guys are going to tell us what they're building so we can take advantage. The regulators are going to tell us what the landscape is looking like in the future. This is a holistic view of what the future of the financial trading spaces looks like. And I want you guys to come and get that front row seat. Okay? Be informed participants over the next 3 years. Happy and safe trading, y'all. Great to see everybody on the stream today. Thank you for showing up for round 2. You're a real one. Drop a like. Happy and safe trading. Peace. I just spit all over my computer, y'all. That just happened. That was the